How's it going, y'all? This is MAES, the Quantum Keyhole Studio, here today with another spicy round of MAES Method Mondays. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to light a scene. I'm going to be showing this to you in a few different ways, so strap up and enough words. Let's jump right into it. So, as you can see, we have all of these buildings here centered around the vantage point, all these lines directed there in proportion, which we learned about in last week's video. So if you haven't checked out Building a Simple Scene, I highly recommend it. And we're going to be building on some of the concepts of that video today. So in terms of lighting, each of these buildings is going at a certain angle, right? So I'm going to plot our light source here up at the top, the sun. That's a little too bright of a sun. I'll just use this. Alright, so we've got the sun up there. So this is an omnidirectional light source, right? There are light sources that are going to emit in different ways, different directions. But since it's a sphere and it emits light in every direction, then you can really plot how it's going to hit these buildings, say, like that. So this is in the shade. Just going to fill this in real quick here. Kind of get the idea. Boom. Pretty easy math there. And it's going to hit this building here at this angle. Now this one's going at a little bit different angle than this one, right? So that shading, the shadow here, is going to follow that angle as well. Boom, like so. Now over on the other side, let's say, I'm going to point this here, this is in the light, right? So we could use this this vantage point line here from this light source to determine that. And let's say we want to put some shade on this one. So that is going to fall down here. You know? So I'm just going to fix this real quick. This isn't exactly lined up, but okay. Kind of like that. So we can use the length really of this object to estimate how far this shadow really goes. So this goes like this. This is going to fall off about like that. Okay, and let's say with this object down here, boom. So we can even add a little dimensionality right here. And that's a shadow. This is facing away from that light up there. And that's basically it for this scene. This is a faraway light. The sun is going to hit these buildings in this way. It's going to shade this side. It's going to light up this side here based on those angles. So next I'm going to be doing a different scene with a different lighting setup to show you just how much the lighting and the object orientation changes from scene to scene. So here we are in a different type of scene. We have a different lighting setup here. The flame is in the center. We have all of these people sitting / standing around doing different things. This guy's, looking on here. There's this guy in the cowboy hat chilling by himself. This dude warming his hands by the fire. This guy trying to sit down and talk to this girl here. So the reason why this setting is important and different from the last scene is because this lighting is in the center. It's not far out in the distance as it was with the last one. So I'm going to show you how that plays out. So let's start with this guy over here. So in terms of where the lines originate, all of them in the circular, orbital type of lighting setup, they'll expand out evenly from that same circle. Basically, this whole flame here is that shape, right? So it's going to be exuding light out in its own shape, right? So let's check this out. We could just really easily figure this out. This guy is sitting in the direction of the fire. And so I'm leaving a little sliver here of light. In the industry, this is called rim light, or if it's coming off of hair, it's sometimes called hair light. The way I learned it, it's called rim lighting. It's really cool looking in real life. Doing my best to kind of simulate it here on this dry erase board. Let's see. We go like that. So as I'm going along and lighting up these different parts of this object, you can also kind of see the shape of these objects, right? And this person's figure. Like if I want to, really emphasize the bulk, the roundness of this person's clothing figure, the clothed figure, in relation to that light, then I'm going to leave a little bit more space there. So we see right here, that's in the shade as well, like that. And when you get an area that is kind of partially lit, but not all the way in shadow, well, it's really easy to think of light as like either it's there or it's not, especially in like graphic novel type setups, where black and white is really prevalent, and it can make you think that it's, you know, it either illuminates it or it's not, and it's you know, a black and white type of thing. But in real life, there are gradients for how light hits something, right? So there can be more light or less light in an area, which creates a thing called fall off. So it's kind of difficult to indicate this with dry erase marker. I'm just gonna mark this here with a little bit of fuzziness. The fall off of that light. And make this, you know, darker. And I can even indicate this by the lightness of the material too, right? So like his cowboy hat may be a little bit lighter than his like long sleeve thing he's got going on here. So then I can add another technique here. This is called hatching. I can just hatch in that shading, and right here is going to be darker, so I'm going to darken this up a bit. You know, this is further from that light source. Boom, and there we go. Looking pretty cool. Okay. So a little bit of fall off there. Then when we get to here, we get to the back of this object that he's sitting on here. This drops off. So the light is facing literally the opposite direction as this side here. So we can just go ahead and do some solid shading on there. And again, depending on the lightness of the material, time of day, and whatnot, overall lighting, then you can kind of determine like how dark or how partially revealed perhaps this back part is going to be. I'm going to fill this in a little bit more. And pretty similar deal with this guy here, right? So we've got, let's see, right there, there, there. So he's kind of, yeah, he's kind of facing towards this light here. I'm just going to add some light shading here, you know. It's up to you to determine how light or dark the person's skin is going to be. All these characteristics of a person is totally up to you. Pretty easy. Go throw in some shading here. In the back. Okay, like so, and a little bit of, we'll say this dude has some dark hair. Okay, great, great. And mine's the way that different facial features are going to face the light as well and how they're going to be revealed. Okay? So, it's like his cheek, the front of his nose there. Like those things are going to be illuminated. So, yeah, so this looks like kind of a well-lit face right here from the front side. Okay, now we can move on to here. Okay, so how are her shoes going to even have their own little slight shadows? We go here. So you can really see this with a person's figure, their shadow, right? So we got a little bit of an angle going on. She's pretty much facing towards it. But again, mind where the shadow is going to go, how it's illuminating her figure. Let's go to like whoosh, back there, right? And let's even say whoosh, whoosh. Yeah. And so she's going to have just a slight shadow on her back there because she's mainly, well, they're all pretty much mainly facing the fire here, but you can really see that you can really see from your perspective how her front is illuminated, his as well, and his as well. So hers is pretty straightforward. So with this guy, see, same type of deal. Shadows going like that. Maybe the edge of his pants here will have some shadow. And we look at where his arm is, right there. So shade that in. Now his neck and face are pretty much fully exposed to the light here. So we don't really have to do much else with him other than like this extended shadow here. So yeah, here's the thing also. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky, is with these shadows that kind of can extend out into the distance here, right? Because the light is also hitting right here. So that's going to stretch that shape out like all the way over here. But basically what you want to do is just like elongate out these shapes here. Alright, there we go. So that's looking pretty good there. And then this dude, pretty straightforward. Maybe his backside here is exposed. side of his long sleeve. These sides here, sides of his pants. Other than that, we don't really have to do too much with him. And there you go. So now you see how everything stretches out from the center here, right? Like everything is illuminated and drawn into this scene here, into the light in this scene here. Right? Also, maybe he'll have his shadow like extend out back here. And that's how you can plot this using, oh, and of course, let's not forget the base itself. Because of course the light is in the center. We're going to have all of these pretty much in shadow. So they're facing the opposite direction. So there you go. Now we get this. Thank you for watching. This is Matt Mays with Quantum Keyhole Studio, wishing you Godspeed and a great life.